What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Trap Monster Uria deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Izzy. And this deck is an extremely fun deck to play that summons out one of the coolest monsters in the game, Uria, Lord of Searing Flames, and makes him absolutely massive. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notice so you can become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. And definitely give Izzy some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Uria, Lord of Searing Flames. This is our main boss monster that we're trying to turbo out to our side of the field extremely quickly. And it has the ability it cannot be normal summoned or set, it must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 face-up trap cards that you control to the graveyard, which is super easy to do in this build. And this card gains 1,000 attack for each continuous trap in your graveyard, which this card can get absolutely massive off that effect. And once per turn, you can target a set spell or trap that your opponent controls and destroy the target, and neither player can activate spells or traps in response to this card's effects of activation, which is a really insane ability. And this card basically night beams one of your opponent's back row while also going upwards of like 10,000 attack points, which is super easy to do in this deck, so you can OTK your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast is basically the Stratos of the deck that when this card is normal summon, you can add a Uria or a monster listed in its text from your deck to your hand, except no other copy of this card, which is a crazy powerful effect. This card also has the ability during your main phase, you can normal summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense in addition to your normal summoner set, which is a great effect to be able to use with our copies of our Chaos Summoning Beast and our Dark Summoning Beast. We then play a single copy of Chaos Summoning Beast. Chaos Summoning Beast is a definite one-up in this deck because you can tribute this card to be able to special summon out Uria directly from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to be able to add a Fallen Paradise from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to use to instantly get to Fallen Paradise to give Uria extra protection, and during every one of your turns you're going to get a draw 2 off of Fallen Paradise, which is really insane. We then play a single copy of Dark Summoning Beast. Dark Summoning Beast is really good as a one-up in the deck, but you can search off your copy of Dark Beckoning Beast, and this card is great to be able to normal summon out to your side of the field because you can tribute this card to be able to special summon out Uria directly from your deck, which is a great effect, but monsters that you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn, which is not that big of a deal because you're basically just setting up for your copy of Uria. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to be able to add Uria from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty good effect. We then play 2 copies of Pharaonic Advent. Pharaonic Advent is basically like a miniature version of Uria because it gains 300 attack for each continuous trap on the field and in the graveyards, and it's a really good effect. And also, you can tribute 1 monster to special summon this card from your hand, and you can also tribute a Fairy, Fiend, or Reptile monster to be able to add a continuous trap from your deck to your hand, but you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. This card can search out a lot of different cards in this build, and it's a definite 2-of in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Cordan. Cordan is a really good normal summon in the deck as well, because when this card is normal summon, you can set a continuous trap from your hand or graveyard, and it can be activated this turn, which is a great effect to get one of your continuous traps immediately set to your side of the field, and then go ahead and flip it up. This card is really good as a 3-of in the deck, and it also gives you a little bit of protection, because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can activate this effect that face-up trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects until the end of the next turn, which is a pretty good effect. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Fallen Paradise. Fallen Paradise is really searchable in this deck off your copy of your Chaos Summoning Beast, and it's a great card effect because your opponent cannot target Uria in your monster zone with card effects. Also, those monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects either, which is a great effect to give you protection from your opponent's cards. This card is a definite 1-of in the deck, and if you control Uria, then once per turn during your turn, you can draw 2 cards, which is insanely powerful to be able to just draw 2 more cards every single turn off this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of Opening of the Spirit Gates. Opening of the Spirit Gates is basically like the Rhoda for the deck, that when this card is activated, you get to add a Uria or a monster that's specifically listed in its text from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect. And you can also discard 1 card to be able to special summon out a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your graveyard, which is really good because if you already have Uria on the field, you can discard 1 of your continuous traps to make him go up by 1,000 attack points while also getting 1 of your Fiends back on your side of the field. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Awakening of the Sacred Beast. This card is a really good one-of in this deck because if you control Uria on your side of the field, each time your opponent normally special summons a monster, you gain life points equal to the attack of that monster, which is a great effect to get your life points absolutely crazy. And it also has the ability that once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, which you always will control Uria, then you can add a continuous trap from your graveyard back to your hand, which is a really good effect. So you get a lot of recycling off of your trap monsters. We then play 2 copies of Hyperblaze. Hyperblaze is really neat as a 2 of in the deck, because to special summon out Uria using its own procedure, you can also use face down trap cards that you control, which is a really neat effect. This card can also pretty much double the attack of Uria, which is insanely powerful to get him absolutely massive so you can OTK your opponent. We then play 2 copies of Tiki Soul. Tiki Soul is a good 2 of in this deck and is really good because it special summons itself as a rock light level 4, 1000 attack, 1800 defense, and it also has the ability that while this card is treated as an effect monster, if another trap card you control that is treated as a monster would be destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to your graveyard, you can set it to your spell and trap card zone instead, which is going to let you basically go through your trap cards really slowly, and is really good because it's going to let you basically flip them up during the next turn and just put them back on the field, which is really awesome. It makes all of your trap monsters extremely sticky, which is really cool. We then play 2 copies of Tiki Curse. Tiki Curse is a good 2 of in this deck. It special summons itself as a rock dark level 4, 1800 attack, and 1000 defense. And it also has a really good effect that while this card is treated as an effect monster, if another trap card treated as a monster battles an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster after damage calculation, which is a really insane effect. We then play 3 copies of the Angel Statue. Angel Statue is a definite 3 of in the deck, and one of the best trap monsters we have in the entire build, because it special summons itself as an effect monster that's a fairy light level 4, 1800 attack, 1800 defense, which is really good. And once per turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster, while this card is in your monster zone, you can send to the graveyard 1 continuous trap in your monster zone that was special summoned from the spell and trap card zone to negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster, which is a really insane effect to be able to use with this card. And the best thing about this card is it's actually a fairy monster, so it works with your copy of Pharaonic Advent. We then play 2 copies of Zoma the Spirit. Zoma the Spirit is just a good 2 of in the deck. It's a really powerful trap monster, but I feel like 2 is totally fine in the deck. It special summons itself in defense position as a dark level 4, 1800 attack, 500 defense, and has a really good burn damage effect that if this card is summoned this way and is destroyed by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster that destroyed this card, which is a pretty good effect. We then play 2 copies of Abyss Stingray. Abyss Stingray is a good 2 of in deck because it has a great effect that it cannot be destroyed by battle, and it special summons itself as a level 5, 1900 attack, 0 defense monster, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Statue of Anguish. This card is probably the most powerful trap monster we have in the entire game. It lets us special summon this card as an effect monster that's a rock, earth, level 7 with 2500 defense and 0 attack. And the insane thing about this card is it's going to be constantly popping cards on the field, is if summoned this way, this card cannot be targeted by an opponent's card while you control another trap card that is a monster on your side of the field. And if a card is special summoned from your spell and trap card zone to a monster zone while this card's a monster, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. That's a crazy powerful effect that this card is basically going to be constantly popping cards every time you summon one of your trap monsters. We then play 3 copies of Apopus, the Swamp Deity. This card is insanely powerful. This card is a definite 3 of the deck, and one of the most powerful besides your copy of Statue of Anguish in the entire deck, because this card is a multiple negate. It has the ability that during the main phase, you can special summon this card as a normal monster that's a reptile earth, level 6, 2000 attack, 2200 defense. Then you can negate the effects of face-up cards that your opponent controls up to the number of continuous traps that you control until the end of the turn, which is crazy awesome that you can activate this card during your opponent's turn and have multiple negates off this card's effect. This card is insane for trap monster decks. We then play 3 copies of Metal Reflect Slime. We basically just play the 3 copies of Metal Reflect Slime in the deck because you can summon out your copy of Egyptian God Slime, which is a really big monster that you can summon off this card's effect, because it special summons itself as an Aqua, Water, level 10, 0 attack, 3000 defense, which is really good. And if it's summoned this way, this card cannot attack, which is not that big of a deal. You're basically just summoning it so you can summon Egyptian God Slime to get a 3000 attack point boss monster. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Egyptian God Slime. You can play 1 copy of this card if you want, but I really like 2 copies of this card in the deck. It must either be fusion summon or special summon from your extra deck by attributing a level 10 Aqua monster with 0 attack, which is always going to be Metal Reflect Slime that you're attributing to summon out this card. None of the other effects really come up on this card except it cannot be destroyed by battle, but it's a really good 2-of in this build. We then play a single copy of Baguska. Baguska is really good in this deck because you can basically just throw this card in Defense Ocean and wait out your opponent while you're setting all your traps and setting up for your copy of Uria. We then play a single copy of number 39 Utopia. Utopia is a really good 1-of in this particular build because it's just really good in this deck to be able to make your copy of Utopia the Lightning so you can have a 5000 attack point monster. This card is insanely powerful in this deck. We then play a single copy of Gustav Max. Gustav Max is great in this deck because Uria is a level 10, and you can do 2000 points of burn damage to your opponent. 1 copy of Juggernaut Lieb. Lieb is a good 1-of as well because it helps you OTK your opponent, and you can make it on top of your copy of your Gustav Max. We then play a single copy of AA Zeus. AA Zeus is really good because we play so many different XZs in this deck, and it's just really good to be able to board wipe your opponent. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code is just easy to make in this deck and be able to pop multiple cards on the field. It's a really, really good 1-of in this deck. We then play a single copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This card is insanely powerful in the deck because it's super easy to put level 7 or higher trap monsters on your side of the field and then use them as material to make this card, so it cannot be targeted with card effects and also cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, which is really good. If it destroys an opponent's monster for battle, you can activate one of these effects to either make it gain 1500 attack, make a second attack during the next battle phase, or banish 1 card from the field, which is really good, and it doesn't even target. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn to be able to spin stuff, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus to pop monsters, which is really good, 1 copy of IP Masquerena to be able to make Unicorn during the opponent's turn, and finally, a single copy of Alamirage. Alamirage is good as a 1-of decks. You can link away your normal summons for this card to give you a little bit of protection. This deck is super fun. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a trap monster deck, you definitely should give this deck a try because it's really insane the amount of plays that you can actually pull off with this deck and how big you can actually make Uria. Uria gets absolutely massive in this deck. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.